1920s tapping sensation. You know who it is. Say it with me. 1, 2, 3.
I got started in burlesque through a nightclub event called Dances of Vice, which is still going on. My good friend Shen Lee runs that night, and she was looking for a couple of tap dancers to do a number at her 1920s themed night. So my friend, who I knew from school, she also used to tap dance. We were like, oh, we can do that. We did one performance and quickly became the Minsky sisters. And Kristen, my partner, she moved to Rhode Island to pursue her degree at RISD. And then I started performing solo. My friends did peer pressure me a little bit into doing burlesque. We wore pasties with one of our outfits. We had these little corsets and bloomers, and my boobs would always pop out of the corset, so we wore pasties that we called just in casties. To transition to a strip number was not such a leap. I was like, I already know what it's like to wear pasties. Yeah, within the burlesque community, there is constantly the debate of stripping versus burlesque. A strip club stripper typically wear like a string bikini top and a string bikini bottom, and they'll come out, they'll dance one song, like with both top and bottom on, then the second song they'll take off the top, and then dance topless for another song or two. Whereas within burlesque, it's one song, anywhere between 4 and 7 minutes, but there's lots of layers, and there's also usually a story. It's an element of surprise, but it adds to sort of the climax of the number. It's like, ooh, sparkly costume, and then the costume's coming off. While we may be naked on stage or nearly naked on stage, we are not necessarily sexualizing ourselves. But we're in control of our bodies. I look to the past for a lot of my inspiration, particularly because my aesthetic is 20s, 30s. Old Hollywood, Ziegfeld Follies, movie musicals, Ginger Rogers, Eleanor Powell. My favorite places to shop tend to be out of town. Relic Vintage in San Francisco is one of my favorite vintage stores in the country. I spend a lot of time just putting alerts on eBay. But I love things that have capes, whether they're detachable capes or just winged sleeves. I'm a sucker for a beautiful bracelet or ring. I have a lot of furs. I love furs that have the names embroidered on the inside because it tells a story, or you can envision the story of who Marie Calandriello is. I have a lot of hats and fascinators. They're easier to find than the gowns and dresses, so I think that's why I have so many of them. My hats that I own, about 90% of them are vintage. My day wear is normally more 40s, 50s style, as you can see, which is the bright lip. The 20s aesthetic was usually like a plum, which is what I usually wear, or like a deep burgundy lipstick, smoky eye, black, sometimes gold, or like a dark blue, the pencil thin eyebrows, and like usually the smaller lip, the Cupid's bow. I have my Sally Hansen airbrush legs. I have it both in the spray and in the liquid. I use this almost every single gig, especially if I'm not wearing any sort of stocking or knee sock or fishnet or anything like that, to help cover the imperfections. Some people call it liquid pantyhose. I wish that people knew how much love and care burlesque performers put into their art. There's many hours that are spent hunched over a table rhinestoning, thousands of rhinestones on one costume. We pour all our hard-earned dollars into our costumes, into our wigs and our makeup, and we do it because of love. We don't do it because we're making a ton of money. The scene in New York is definitely one of the biggest in the world. There are other scenes that are becoming bigger. Like London has a fairly big burlesque scene. There's a scene in Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, Helsinki. So within burlesque, there's a lot of subgenres. There's boylesque, which are the men who do stripping, and there's also Draglesque, which are drag queens that strip. Nerdlesque intersects with cosplay a little bit. You don't go to a burlesque show and come out sad. It's a form of theater, it's a form of escapism. People go to have a good time.